So if you're with us for the first time, we're going through the Think and Grow Rich book. Actually, this is going to be the last time we get together for the Think and Grow Rich. We're towards the end of the book already. We were going to talk a little bit about the brain today, and then the 6 senses. And then we're going to wrap it up, actually, so we can have a new book to actually go through starting the end of the month. I think we're going to switch our day to a Monday. And probably at 4 o'clock on Monday. We're going to try that probably the end of August. So we're going to take a couple of weeks off. Let the Think and Grow Rich sink in.
I think that gives us the chance to kind of read the whole Think and Grow Rich from cover to end and not the in-betweens.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Start applying it. So anyway, welcome. Now that we're all sitting here, I'm Dori Sukup. With me today is Sarah and Meaghan.
And Dori didn't get the navy blue memo this week.
I did not.
She was black.
Obviously, I did not. They kept me out of that one. At least we're not all wearing pearls like we did that one
I
day.
know,
I do
now
have a
I'm
little
playing.
bit
You
of
have a little pearl. I have a little pearl.
I have a little pearl on my sleeve.
I have a little pearl on my wrist.
There you go.
Where
I
are
have
your
no
polka
pearls.
dots? Where's your polka dots?
I don't
have
know.
no
I should
polka
have done
dots.
polka dots and pearls.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Next time.
Well, we're so excited to have each and every one of you. And like Dori said, we have yours truly, Dori Sukup, who I personally think is the trendsetter, all things business in the med spa industry.
Wow.
So if you are with us,
She
you're
must
in
want
the right
something.
place.
She must want something. What does she want? Where
Right?
did that come from?
So I've been practicing at home. And then we have Meaghan Dieterman, who is one of our business advisors, our high achiever implementing coaches. And then you just have me, who just kind of does a little bit of everything around
She's the
here.
jack of all trades. Whatever you want, she can do it.
Pretty much.
Whenever somebody wants something, go see Tara.
Right.
She's the go-to person. We're gonna get her a hat. Go-to person.
I feel like I
That's
do
what
have a lot of hats.
And then we
but I
have
love-
Sarah back
Yes.
there. You should pop your head in here, Sarah. Come
Sarah's
on.
being all
Say
cute
hi.
and adorable
This is
today,
our
too.
beautiful
Aw,
Sarah.
her and her little.
Look at her. She's like Miss
Hello,
Punctuality.
So many of you that are either joining us on Leap Ahead or you've been joining us in the book gathering, you have had the pleasure to speak with Sarah, and she's had this pleasure to speak with you to introduce all the ways we can help you grow your business exponentially. So that way each of you get to see her face. We love having her behind the scenes and jumping in with us here. So we are doing the book gathering, Think and Grow Rich. Today is our final chapter, and we're finishing the rest of it. So you'll be able to replay each and every one of these chapters on InSPArationManagement.com. And Dori, we are going to start doing your book and really breaking it down every single chapter piece by piece. So I cannot wait to start doing her book. So we're going to be talking about the brain today. And I think if anybody's brain is the right,
Do we have one?
I know. I was gonna say if anybody's brain is the right brain working, it's always Dori's brain.
Oh yeah, it's always
It's
on overload.
never to sleep. I don't think it sleeps, honestly.
Yeah, it does.
Her
My
subconscious mind
yes.
works great.
Everybody's subconscious mind.
Yes. But everybody's works a little bit different, right? Your subconscious mind is so trained on business, and that's what gets us to bring things
that's
like
my
this
problem.
to our clients.
It needs to be thinking about men.
You two said that at the same time.
You heard that, right?
I did. I totally
I think
heard
she
it.
owes
heard
me a
it.
glass of wine for that
I
one.
think she does.
Yeah.
Well, we're so excited to have you, and I can't wait to get going on this chapter.
Do we have any single men? Do we have any single men on?
I think if you are a single man, you should pop in and say hi. Maybe we could do a little
Well,
Zoom
first we
day.
have
Zoom
to make
happy
them
hour?
qualifications.
Yes.
We'll send them a little
List.
quantifier list, and then if they qualify, we could do a Zoom
An
meeting.
application.
Yes, then we could do a Zoom meeting, things like that.
Go
So
from there.
I love having fun on our book
We have to
gathering.
have fun. What else are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And
Can't
our
sit here and be all
Wait,
humdrum.
and we're not even drunk.
Imagine that if we were. How much more fun would we be having then? I don't know if it's possible.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, those of you who have been with us throughout the whole thing, I'm going to call on you today to kind of tell us what was your favorite part of the entire book. Like, what chapter was your favorite part of the book? So what I'm going to do is, instead of starting with the brain, what I would like to do is actually take you through the whole path of what we went through so far. And then when we get to the brain section and the six senses, we'll talk about it. So I just want to kind of go over the whole thing. So we started out with the first week talking about how thoughts are so powerful and how everything starts with a thought, and how important it is to control your thoughts and to make sure that you're always staying in a positive mode rather than letting the negativity creep into your thoughts. And we gave you a little tip that whenever you start thinking negatively, to snap your finger, say the word light, and hopefully that snaps you out of that negativity and brings you into the positivity. So the thought process is so important. To we had a little
I had a little malfunction over here.
That was
Sorry.
I need Tara
I
help
think
for a
I
moment.
did.
it's all gone there though.
So just make her.
All right. So I just want to encourage you, as we went through the whole thought process chapter, I want to encourage you to try to always stay positive and stay motivated, and always look at things like they're the sunshiny, bright objects that are coming your way rather than the glass is half empty. You should always look at it as the half glass full. Or if somebody throws you a lemon, you make lemonade out of it. So all these things are really key. This is the foundation, because if your thoughts are not in the proper place, they're not positive, then everything that he talks about in the following chapters are not going to apply, because it's it's not going to work if you're thinking negatively. So that was the first thing that we discussed. So as far as little homework or takeaways for you out of this talk today, is to make some summary of all the things that we're going to go through, and have that summary handy. And you can, instead of having to go through all your notes from every single chapter, you're able to do a little summary. And actually this will be a great book summary for you, what we're doing right now. So starting out with our thoughts. Then he starts into the first step into riches, which I have to tell you, that's probably my favorite part. The principle of the entire book is that burning desire. Because after you think it, then you have to really have the desire to actually take action. And without burning desire, that's what I love about the phrases that he used. It's not just desire, it's burning desire. And when you're talking about burning desire, there's nothing that's going to stop you.
Right. No,
It's burning
it's
inside.
in you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have desire every morning to come in and do so much more and move up and grow and things like that. But sometimes where I catch myself is structuring, right? Like you said, writing down that list of accomplishment, prioritizing, even though I have that desire, figuring out those keys that play a role in that. So I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
But I think the desire is not something you can learn. It's nothing that can be taught to you. It's just something that's instilled to you.
Yeah. And I think they need to take this away. Like when you hire people for your practice, your medical spa, your wellness center, I would rather hire for burning desire over talent.
Sure.
Because you can teach talent, you can explore talent, you can improve talent. Yeah, like Sarah, she's like my little superstar now. So she has the desire, right? She has the right attitude. She's positive, and when you have those qualities, nothing beats that. Nothing, seriously. So for all of you who are leaders out there, I think you need to really take that into consideration when you're hiring people, and ask the kind of questions that will lead to you knowing whether they have that burning desire inside or whether they don't. And if they don't hire them. You can't teach it. I'm telling you, you cannot teach burning desire. You can't. You can try to motivate, you can try to give bonuses, you can try this, that, but seriously, it just does not work. So I think that should be a very important thing that they do.
Well, and when you have those team members that are just time punchers, right? They come in, they punch in, they punch out. So no matter what time at the end
Last
of the
one
day
in,
it
first
is,
one to leave.
right? They don't care if they completed what was on their task. The nice thing about Sarah is like she's always saying to finish whatever she started before she ends for the day. You can't teach that, but you can get it on an interview. You'll know if they're your time punchers or not.
It takes pride,
Right.
and it really does. And that's we teach something called past behavior predicts future behavior. So when you apply the Clarity hiring system, and you're able to ask the kind of questions that tell you how they behaved in the past, they're more likely going to behave that way when they come to see you, work with you. So if you don't like the answers of what they've done in the past, then you're not gonna like who they are once they come and start working with you.
Well, I was coaching with one of our members, Dr. Navarro, about the same thing, and she says to me, Meaghan, I hire crappy people. And I said, Dr. Navarro, you just need a system.
Yeah.
Right? Let me show you the system of the Clarity hiring manual and hiring system, because it teaches you to ask those questions that predict those things. So she is now hiring in a much better fashion.
Yes,
No more crap.
No more crap.
No more crap.
We have a bunch of hellos, you guys. They're,
Hi.
they're flying off the screen. I can't catch all of them.
That's great. Hello, everyone.
Okay.
So we're talking about not hiring crappy people.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to sometimes use the words they
Hire
give
for
you.
desire, right? You have to hire for burning desire. So keep that in mind and keep that desire. Like a lot of people say, well, Dori, how do you stay motivated? You know, you have to keep the goal in front of you. When you keep the goal in front of you, then you're naturally motivated to do these things because you have the desire to want to do them.
Right.
And that's really what separates a motivated person from a non-motivated person.
When I think, and when you actually can see full accomplished task and see that things are actually getting completed, that keeps you to keep moving forward. But if you're a person that starts a bunch of projects, but you actually never accomplish any,
Yeah.
then that desire, you're like, "Ugh, I don't want to keep going because I don't get anything done.
Yeah, well,
So-
but that goes into the next section we're going to talk about, which is organized planning.
Correct.
That you can't have desire without, and that's what I love about this book, seriously, is that he gives you the whole blueprint. I mean, it didn't take him 25 years for nothing to write this thing. A lot of thought went into it. So, so once you have that thought process positive, you have the burning desire, the next step to riches is faith. And he talks about how important it is to visualize and believe. And I have to tell you, again, it's back to that thought process. Well, visualizing is a step beyond the thought, because you're actually turning the thought into a movie in your head. And when you see it as clear as it can be, it's more likely to become a reality. People love pictures, right?
Well, sure.
And if you see in the mind of your eye what exactly you want to happen and you're visualizing it, and then you back it up with faith, there's no stopping.
Well, and they always say a picture's worth 1,000 words.
I was just gonna bring that in, like in the leap ahead, we're telling them before and afters are true testimonials, video proof that these results are happening.
Yeah.
That's why people love images. They're so attracted to them. And an image will sell you every day.
Always.
Always.
And moving your
But not stock images.
No, I'm saying real before and afters. That's what
Real,
people
But
are attracted
also,
to.
you know, we were talking yesterday about your vlog having a video email that goes out, the newsletter, using that in multiple ways, repurposing it again and again, taking that video apart and making sure that we're using it all over the place, because that's what sticks in someone's brain.
Well, we're all conditioned in that way right now, right? Everyone is in front of their Zoom working from home. They're seeing themselves. You have TVs, you have photos. Not very many people do you see actually have bookcases. I mean,
Except
when
for
I
me.
started working here, when I walked into Dori's office, I thought I went to the public library. I was like, what? I mean, and it's not a joke. You have from ceiling to floor, walls to walls of books, but they're not just any books. They're all driven, educational, learning books, right? They're
Yeah.
all that way.
Business
And
is
I can tell
self-development.
you, I have never in my however many years, 6-something years, I've been here with Dori to see her travel. And if I always look up at first class where she's sitting and she's always on the aisle, I wait and you see her pull a book out of her bag and she pulls her spiral notebook out. And there she is. She's just reading, highlighting, writing down. Every time I see you do that, every time.
Yeah.
And you're just persistent with it.
Mhm.
But that's why you are who
Yeah.
you are now.
Yeah, well, I love keep feeding my mind with
Mhm.
new things. And the other thing is when you start teaching, that's when you become even better.
Yes.
And that's what we were trying to tell everybody because the Leap Ahead is a leadership seminar. One of the things that we are stressing is that you as a leader, you have to learn the material first. And once you start teaching it, you're going to get that much better. It sinks in that much better. It's very important to practice and learn and keep practicing. That's the only way you
No,
are
I-
going to get.
Well, and we were working today, you and I were working
Yeah.
today on my presentation skills and my abilities to kind of go out and really start working in the trenches with our members and, you know, at conferences. And so we were working on that today. So I kept stopping, we're videotaping. I'm like, oh, go back. Let let that sink in. Let's talk again. Now let me say what you said. So that's definitely,
Yeah.
and then we broke for a while. We
Yeah.
had other
And just that
appointments.
alone, what we just did today,
Yes.
it's going to make such an impact.
Right,
And the more you do that, the better you're going to be.
exactly.
And that's really the advice for everybody here is that the more you practice, the better off. Well, same thing with Sarah. Like right now, she's just like, oh my gosh.
She's a bell ringer. I
She's,
have
she's
to tell you.
amazing. She's so good right now. It's because she practiced and you know,
And you were persistent, right?
and she tells me, she's so funny because sometimes I'm not very gentle. So I coach, right? But I'm very direct with my coaching and she loves it. She's like, Dori, give it to me. She goes and drinks wine when I give it to her.
Sarah's so funny. But you know what?
I sit on my
Difference-
porch and listen to Dori yell at me while I'm drinking my
No,
wine.
coaching you, not yelling at you, coaching you,
I know,
direct
but-
coaching.
That's how I tease you.
Oh, that's funny. Give it to me, Dori.
Give it to me. Don't take it easy.
But
Yeah.
it makes you better, right? And
It
you
does.
persistently are playing those
Yeah.
and listening to them, and you get better and better and better.
Yeah, you have to visualize. You really do. You have to visualize and you believe. And when you back it up with faith, you're on track. So then he talks about the third principle, which is autosuggestion. So now that you have your thought, you have your desire, you have your visualization, now you have to put all that into your subconscious mind. And you do it through autosuggestion. So that means you have to hear yourself. Like if you pray in your head, don't pray out loud. If you want something to happen, verbalize it out loud. If you're preparing for a speech, don't just read it in your head, verbalize it. It makes such a difference. And when you do that,
It does.
your subconscious mind absorbs it and then it becomes part of who you are. And that's why principle 3 is so important to your success, because if you don't verbalize it out loud,
It's not
more
gonna come
likely
true.
it's not going to happen.
Well, that's how you remember things, right?
Right.
Mhm.
I mean,
I think people think I'm crazy because I walk around talking to myself all the time because I'm just replaying
mhm.
that story verbally because I want to rehear it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like for me, like how we answer the phone,
Yes.
right? When I first started working here, had my script ready to go. But you can't just sit there in your head and just read the script, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have
have to
any
say it.
feeling behind it.
That's right.
But when I open my mouth and I actually say it, and then you have that passion behind those
Wow.
words and that smile,
Yeah.
my brain immediately, I mean, it took me no time to remember.
Actually, what you just said is very important because that's the backup. Because the subconscious mind reacts better when you tie it to emotions. And when you do that, then it's really going to sink in. And he talks about doing the autosuggestion that you notice at night and during the morning. So especially at night, I love doing that at night. And I try to get you into that habit. So before I go to sleep, I really like to think of what I'm going to do the next day. And I either do my to-do list or think about it. More likely, I write it down. I actually go to bed with a spiral notebook. It's sad, but instead of a guy, I go to bed with a spiral notebook. Isn't that sad? What the fudge?
I don't know what we're gonna do with her.
I don't
Anyway.
know.
So when you do that at night, believe me, when you wake up, if you want and look for answers, if you ask those things of your subconscious mind the night before, when you wake up in the morning, you're gonna wake up with those answers.
As you can tell, like we're into a new habit setting. Like through this book, Dori's been, implementing things for Meaghan and I just to improve, right?
Mhm.
These are great practices. And I think when a company is growing and developing and your position is expanding and you're learning new things,
Sure.
you have to have those good
Mhm.
principles. Am I great at them? No, not yet, but it's something
Oh,
new.
you're learning.
But
But am I
I'm
better
learning
than I
them, right?
was 5 weeks
Yes.
ago?
Yes.
Definitely.
Right.
Right? So, I mean, that's definite. I can see progression
Mhm.
over even just the past 5 weeks.
Yes.
And that's been
Even the way you think, now,
correct.
right?
The way I think,
Yeah,
the way
the way you behave,
the way I'm
you
presenting to people, the way
communicate.
that exactly. So it's definitely
Yeah.
it
And
makes a
it makes
huge
a difference,
And I
right?
hope that everybody else that's been with us, throughout the book, that you're seeing these differences, because here's perfect examples for you of how this is really changing their lives. And, it truly did change my life. Excuse me, the first time I read it when I was 19. And it's amazing to me. I was going to ask you guys this question as a last question is, what was your favorite thing out of it? And I have to tell you, my favorite thing that I'm applying now that I did not apply before, and don't laugh at this, but it is the sex transmutation, because I never really applied that chapter. That was not something I implemented in the past. But I'm thinking about it,
Sure.
right? And I want to apply it because that's one thing I did not apply all the way. And there was one other thing I have not applied, and that's from the sixth senses. And that's when he does the meeting, the faculty meeting. And I have not done that because you know what? Everything else has come true, and I was almost scared
To do it.
to implement that, just like he talks about in the book.
Right.
Like he got so real with it that it scared him, and he even stopped doing it for a few months.
Mhm.
And that was the other thing that I have not really implemented in the book. So those are the two things that all the years I've been practicing, those are the two things I have not, and those are the things that I want to
Well,
implement.
it's the first thing I said to you this morning when I walked through the door.
Yeah.
I put my stuff down at my desk and I walked into Dori's office and I said to her, "Who's at your table?"
Yeah.
That's literally what I said. And
I gave you an answer.
she did. She did. It was great.
Yeah, so I'm working on it. Those are things. So there's always room for improvement. There's always room for new implementation. And the more, again, you do it, the better off you're going to be. So
I mean, for me, like I've been running every day after work, and it's an
Yeah.
hour run every single day. I'm so happy I've done a complete week, every day for
Wow.
a week.
I'm impressed.
Oh, I'm very impressed too, and I don't think my
For an
body
hour?
is 1 hour
Wow.
every single day. But I have to tell you, in that hour, I'm re-listening to the book gatherings. I've been re-listening to the
Oh,
Think
good.
and Grow Rich. So before, though, what I was getting the point to was before, it's always been country music,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
I
even when
can't-
you wake up in the morning, that's
Yes.
the first thing you listen
So,
to.
and even my husband noticed, he's like, why isn't your country? I shower, I have speakers in my shower.
Yeah,
like
see?
no matter,
That's good.
it's always been country
I'm
music.
rubbing off on her finally.
You know? And before then, I was always playing Dori in my car and things like that. So I'm like, okay, my husband's like, here we go again. She's gonna, but I love it. Like, my runs go so fast, and I'm like, wow, that was a fast chapter, and you get the chance to re-listen and it kind of implements.
Yeah, it's good. You're utilizing your time wisely.
Right.
Just
And
like driving around, you should always be listening to audibles or some kind of a book or something. Like I put my YouTube channel on in my car on my phone, and that's what I listen to in the morning driving to work. So I'm always like my morning is always self-development. That's all I do. That's all I do is just listen or watch YouTube channel while I'm getting ready in the morning.
Well,
So
I think the nice thing about doing it in the morning, and like if you're running and doing, I hate to use the word, but when you're doing mindless activities, right? It doesn't take a lot of thought to take a shower and brush your hair and do your makeup. At least for a woman,
they're
it's
on
just
autopilot.
right. So your subconscious mind can listen and actually start soaking in this other information.
So one advice though, because when you're listening, a lot of times you want to take a couple of notes.
Mhm.
So again, usually in the bathroom is the spiral notebook next to the phone with a pen while you're putting makeup on. Because if you don't put it down and come back to it, you're gonna forget about it. I'm telling you, I know because I've done it. So the more you write down, the more you go back and review your notes, the better off it's going to be for you to have it sink into your mind.
I'm actually going to tattle on myself.
Go ahead.
Come on.
So since this chapter, I don't have a spiral notebook in my bathroom. My bathroom's kind of small and it gets really foggy. I do have eyeliner and a mirror. And my mirror, I literally have a little circular spot left in my mirror with all of my notes from this book gathering in my eyeliner all around the mirror.
You're gonna have to buy more
And with-
eyeliner now.
I know. That's why the makeup has gotten less and less and less, folks.
See, and I'm the same thing. Like I have a shelf now, and when I'm listening in the morning to the shelf will hold the book, and I'll hear something, and I'll run in the bathroom, and I'll pick up the pen and underline it in my book. So I have things underlined, but it's held on the shelf until I hear something, and I'm like, oh, let me go underline that. My husband's like, that book is gonna be like, you know, moisture from the bathroom and all that. He's like, I'm surprised it's still holding itself together.
All my books are
Waterproof
written
eyeliner.
in and highlighted.
See, and that's one thing I have to say. When I met Dori and I picked up a book off of her shelf, I was shocked, right? Most
That I
people
have
are
stuff in
raised
them?
not to write in your books. I mean, for me, we never wrote in our books growing up. But when I picked up a shelf on Dori, I was like, did you know someone wrote in your book? And she's like, yeah, that was me. She's like, I have written in every one of those books. But it's so nice to see the things that she's highlighted and read, and she'll write little notes next to it, and I'm like, oh, interesting.
Well, my problem is I'll read a book like The Think and Grow Rich and I'll highlight it and write in it. And then when I go in a year or two to read it again, I have to buy a new copy because I'm in a different headspace.
Yes, that's
And
true.
so you're picking up different things
Absolutely.
that you're going to gain from reading that book another time. And I don't want my previous mindset or my lack of knowledge in that moment to influence where I'm at today.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting to see the differences. So I describe this as you're going up a spiral staircase. And the higher you go in your professional career, you have a different view.
yes. Oh, for sure.
So you might have been here and now you're here. Now you're on the top of the staircase and it's circular. And I mean, think of the bird's eye view that you're gonna get
For
to
sure.
see.
For sure.
And that's what I love about so many of our members re-attending the Leap Ahead or other seminars that we do, and they always gain something from it. It's funny because that's what Brianna was saying the other day. They were guests on one of our modules, and she said she took like how many
3
pages of
notebooks,
notes?
I think.
Yeah,
2
she
or 3.
hashtag 2 spiral notebooks down already.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's a lot when you progress and you're learning, you do change and things look differently and you take away different things. So yeah.
I think
All right.
we should have invested in spiral notebooks since we got so many people buying
know.
spiral notebooks.
Buy
We might
some
want to
stock in
invest some
spiral
stock in
notebooks.
that.
All right, so number 5 was imagination, the workshop of the mind. So that kind of goes all along with the visualization and all that. And then number 6 was organized planning. I think that is key to all the principles because you can have all the things we just talked about, but if you're not organized and you're not planning properly, then you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. So it is really key to take that desire and turn it into action. Because if you don't take action, nothing is going to change.
But I think that wraps back into our DSP, right? Our daily success planning. And we're always talking about it. I can't think of a leap ahead that in the training, the daily success planning was not brought up because that's where it all starts. You want to generate revenue, you want to grow your business, you want to know what's happening that day. It all comes from the action of
Because
the daily
we don't
success
have it
planning.
tomorrow, we only have
Right,
today. And I think that's a big problem. Actually, I had that problem before because I would always look ahead and like I'm thinking about what I want to accomplish tomorrow. Well, let's worry about what we're going to accomplish today. Let's live in the moment. Let's take care of today. And if we do all the things we're supposed to do today, then tomorrow you can take care of tomorrow. But I think that's a lot of problem for a lot of people because they're trying to get ahead,
Right.
but they don't take care of today.
Mhm.
And that's
sure.
a very important point to keep in mind. Like, live each day. You hear that all the time. Live each day, because we don't know if we have it tomorrow. What are you going to do? Keep working for tomorrow? And then if there's no tomorrow, where are you?
But I think I always get it confused, reactive to proactive. So if you're being proactive today, you don't have to be reactive to
Tomorrow.
something tomorrow.
Exactly.
And then it puts you in this whole mindset that you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
Right?
So to me, organized planning is really being able to see you actually taking care of that vision and turning it into a reality. Because if you don't have a plan, it's not going to happen. And that's probably one of everybody's biggest challenge with implementation, is because they don't plan it. And I have to tell you, if you don't plan implementation, you're not going to reach success the fastest way possible. So whenever you decide something that you want to do, you have to have a plan, and then you have to take action. Because again, having a plan without action is not going to get you anything. So those are really key principles that you must apply. I think it makes
And I
a
have
big
to tell you,
difference.
I can see all these things that you've instilled into the company, like the plan. You can't look at any of our training and you don't see a mind map. Like the membership program, you created a mind map for our clients. Here's the goal, and these are all the pieces you have to do, right? You've created the plan for them.
Yeah.
So it's like, I see from you learning from this book where it's come into fruition with our business and for our clients, you know?
And see, a lot of people don't realize that, right? But it's just a matter of training your brain to a certain thought process. And when you do that, you accomplish so much more. Like, I'm always asking, right? So what are we trying to gain out of this?
Every day. Like, that's what she said. What's the thought behind the slide?
Yeah.
Like, why are we here?
What's the point?
What's the point?
What's
Why
the
are we here?
benefit?
Yeah.
Why do we want to talk about this? And if you don't think it all the way through in your own mind and then verbalize it with a plan.
You don't
What
get
is
action,
simple
right.
as
You don't
drawing
get
it
it.
out? Like, what's the purpose in the middle, and then what are all the pieces that I've got
But to
accomplished?
go
in
through
my
But you
and
know,
life?
really-
how many people actually do mind mapping? Not many. Like, how many times I teach that during the Leap Ahead, and I ask people, how many of you understand mind mapping? And maybe one person might raise their hand.
Yep.
But it's the easiest way to plan.
Sure. Yeah. It's a great
So-
way. It's funny because I taught my kids all of that as they were growing up, and now my son, the pharmacist, called me yesterday. It's COVID-19, finding that first job out of school. He's only been licensed for 5 weeks and he's starting to panic. And I was like, buddy, give yourself a minute, but what do we do when we get to this point when you need to figure out a plan? He's like, mind map. Like, thank you, talk to you Friday, bye.
Yeah.
And so that was just that, like, put it down, put your feelers out there, know what your next steps are.
Know what you want and go after it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really, and I think that's the biggest thing right now with young people is some of them are more, like, I don't know about your son, but I know my son is pretty laid back.
Pretty laid back, I think.
So he had worked so hard his entire school career. He has a degree in biochemistry, which, by the way, Sarah does too. And that takes a lot of drive and commitment to actually graduate with that degree. But once he finished that, it's like,
He's like, I
I'm done.
Done. Check.
Done.
did it. He's like, you got the degree, check mama happy.
So it
Now on to
comes to
something
the
else.
next step, actually, persistence. So once you know in your mind what it is that you want, and that's when persistence has to kick in. So for him to go out and find a job, I would want him to decide where he wants to work, not where is he going to get hired.
Right.
I would decide where I want to work, and I would go get that job. No matter what. He gave us so many examples in this book about how other people have gotten jobs by actually going and just asking for the job.
Yep.
So it's persistence is one of my favorite things, actually, because I don't give up.
No, she doesn't.
I don't, and nor should you. You should always just keep driving forward, keep moving, keep making plans, keep taking action, because if you don't, you're just gonna get left behind, and that's not us.
No. And
that's
persistence
not you.
paralyzes resistance. And I have to tell you, when you're persistent.
You guys,
Like
you guys
she
just love to
is.
say that.
We
right?
Somebody says it every week, right?
She does, right? But it means so much. Like
They love it.
she's not kidding. She is persistent, and sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, like she is not stopping. Like here we go, and then I just realized I'm like, okay, let's just accomplish it, do it, and see what happens, right? And usually, like when I quit resisting, and just do it, I'm like, oh, well,
I know what she
easy,
means now.
Now I understand it.
Now I get it.
But then, another, as Dori's always bringing up something new, and I'm like, yay, here we go again. You just go with it. But I think it makes it so much more easier and more enjoyable to come to work and be a part of something amazing.
She's just saying that now. She must want something after this.
It's a glass of wine.
Yeah.
You too, I swear.
Oh, we're just teasing.
I know.
That's why
We put it
doesn't she
in the
look
middle.
so pretty today? Look at her hair. Her hair looks so nice today.
We put her in the
Dori
middle.
asked me, what did I do different?
Yeah, I
She's
said,
like,
what did you do to your hair?
what
Did you
was-
wash it?
she's like, what did you take out? What was growing in there or something? I was like, oh, okay. I think it's just Thursday. I don't know. Maybe the weather was different.
Doesn't it look good? Doesn't her hair look good today?
She looks beautiful.
Oh, you guys stop it. We're talking about Think and Grow Rich now.
She got all embarrassed.
Yeah, her
I
face
even
is
had
gonna
a
match her
dress
hair.
on. I have
Yeah.
some nice high
Yeah, no,
heels.
yesterday she's like, well, yeah, I have lots of dresses. I'm like, bring them out.
This is not for the faint of heart.
No. I walked in and Dori's like, oh, you did something different. I'm like,
You look nice.
yeah, I'm like, where's the, you look great. She's like, you look really good. I was like, okay.
Oh,
does she
okay,
notice?
moving on to principle 8. The 8th step to riches. The power of a mastermind. Number 8. And we talked about that. And actually, I have to tell you, we have had so many new members lately. It's been so
unbelievable.
nice and refreshing.
Yes.
And so many people are just ready to
Mhm.
elevate and do better. And they're all like, sign me up.
Right.
I'm ready to do better. It's so exciting to see. And we're starting something actually nice for all the mastermind members because of this book, actually. Because we want them to just, not me teaching, just get on the Zoom all together and just talk. Bring up a topic. What are you doing right? What's working? What's
Right.
not? I need this advice. And just, that's really what it's all about.
Mhm.
It's
And
like
I'm
a
just so-
socializing happy hour, if you will, for
Yeah.
for minds, right?
Well, and
for the business minds.
And I think that it kind of spawned a little bit to begin with coronavirus.
Mhm.
Let's look at the blessings of things that have happened when we were doing 4 to 8 Zoom meetings a week
Yes.
with our mastermind members and giving them strategies and skills to get through this
Yes.
this situation.
Mhm.
And the mastermind members have all said, I miss my group. Like I miss seeing everybody every day. We're back into the workforce, but we need to reconnect.
Mhm.
And so I think that was
Yeah.
definitely a piece of it
And
as well.
When you're an owner, right? Even though you're still with your team, it's not the same as being
No.
with like-minded people,
Yes.
right? Who can give you feedback on that idea and actually give you an honest business. It's
Yeah.
not the same.
I have to tell you, I mean, being part of mastermind groups has led me to where I am today. I wouldn't be where I am today had I not been part of groups that helped me grow, that helped guide me, mentor me, bounce ideas off of me. That's why I'm excited about doing the meeting with different people that I want to meet with, my faculty or my table. And I want to encourage you, if you have never, and again, I'm not trying to sell you or whatever. I mean, you do what you want. It's up to you. It's your life. But I'm telling you how it changed mine and how it's changed so many of our members and the success that they've reached by being part of this group. It makes a big difference. So if you have never been in one, you really should look into it. And we just revamped our entire group. So if you want to just go over to inspirationmanagement.com and check out the Flying High new program that we just did, and then call up and talk to Sarah. She'll guide you through it because it would be such a great experience for you. I mean, we just have so many happy members.
Not,
We're so blessed.
we are, and I have to
Amazing.
tell you, our members are not on all the same level, right? We have, whether you're just starting out,
Mhm.
whether you've been in business 2 years, 3 years, or you've been in business 15, 20
30,
years. I mean, we
right,
have
30,
Denise, who's
32.
been in for
Yeah,
32 years.
32.
And
You
she's
can
a member.
still be a part of the mastermind. And
Yeah.
Denise has actually been live on the Leap Ahead, and she's been asking questions, and
Oh,
she's
yeah.
like, oh, I need to
And
tweak this.
this is her, like,
I know.
is it fourth or fifth?
4th or 5th time at Leap Ahead, but
Yeah.
for someone that's been open for 32 years, she's still learning, right?
Absolutely.
And that's the whole part of a mastermind. Like before I started working here, I was never introduced to mastermind. And now having that camaraderie, and it does look like everything is wrapped around it, but that's when you see your most success,
Mhm.
right? When you don't feel like you're on an island by yourself
Yeah. Well,
and
it
you're
is
just
lonely.
and you're just like
It's
paddling
lonely.
by
Yeah.
yourself and you have no one to help and you don't know where you're going.
Well, our new mastermind members are great. And every time I do a welcome call, I'm so blessed that I get to do the welcome calls and walk them through their new systems and walk them through how the coaching program is going to work. Every time I get off the call, I get up from my desk and I go run into Sarah's office and I poke my head in her window. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love all of these new members that we're talking to. They're just great. They're,
Yeah, they're willing to learn.
Oh my
they're
gosh.
so hungry for
They're-
knowledge.
yes, yeah,
And
it's
it
just
makes
been
a
great.
big difference.
Yeah.
When you're hungry for knowledge,
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
I'm so excited.
And
to
that's
work
what
with
I
them.
would hope that
They
all
want
of
that.
you are hungry for knowledge, because that's the only
Mhm.
way you're gonna earn more. I have a saying. You guys can borrow this if you want.
Okay, we'll write
So
it down.
the more
Write down the saying. Here we go.
the more you learn, the more you earn.
Ah,
So you can start using it if you want.
you know, the nice thing about our mastermind members is you said they're hungry. They have that burning desire to change. And like you said, some of them, we've known them for years and years and years. And now they're like, I have that desire. I need
Yeah.
to change. And who's going to help me? InSPAration management. And, you know, we were talking about that on the Leap Ahead.
Yeah.
Kind of re-engaging those
So-
past.
Number 9, sex transmutation. So we talked about how, not too long ago actually, we had that chapter. We talked about how you can actually take your energy from being sexually driven to actually putting it towards something that you want to accomplish, and how you can transfer that energy from you to whatever it is that you want to actually accomplish. So those are things that definitely we can explore a little bit more on your own and learn a little bit more how you can take that energy and transmute it into other things. And then number 10 was actually the subconscious mind, and it's all about connecting the links and how to train your subconscious mind to actually do the things that you want to make, you want done. And actually, that's probably my second favorite thing. Desire is probably my first, and then the subconscious mind, because so much goes into that. You can really change your life. You can totally change your life with the power of the subconscious mind. You
No, I
just have to
agree.
train it.
Mhm.
You just have to train it. Once you train it, you're golden. You're golden.
I think for me, like running right now and listening to this book and our own book gatherings that I've been replaying, I don't think about how my body is hurting running. Like I yesterday realized my legs are just covered in shin splints, and if you don't have them, like you feel like you're on agonizing needles every time your feet hit the floor.
Mm.
But I just don't think about it, right? My subconscious mind, I'm like, but I'm distracted
that's
by
a good
listening to this.
Sure.
But if I stopped, I'd stop 5 minutes in
Right.
and I'd be done. But I'm just so driven that I'm not thinking
Yeah.
about it.
So then he ties it all up with the brain, because when you're talking about all the thought, I mean, think about it. The whole book really is all
All
about
of
your
it.
head. It's all about the brain and what the brain actually does. And he describes it as the broadcasting station for receiving and outgoing broadcasting messages. And I want to learn more about the brain. That's actually what I started listening to this week after I reread the brain chapter. I started actually looking into other people that teach things about the brain, and it's such a complex. Oh my gosh, it's crazy what we can actually accomplish with the brain. So I know we're almost
I'd
running
say
out
we're-
of
I
time.
think-
Well, Mickey says, hi, Dori.
I'm Mickey.
How are you? Yeah.
And we have so many people that are live with us on Zoom.
Dr. Mata popped in. I love
Oh.
Dr. Mata. Sorry I'm late.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a replay available?
Yes.
Of course. That's what
So
I
number
told
12 was the sixth sense, and it's all about having that faculty meeting that we just talked about and who you want to have in that meeting. I think for you though, if you're just starting out with Think and Grow Rich, I would do the same thing I did, and I would hold off on that personally, because you have so much more to implement before you get to this level,
Mhm.
and it really does take a little more thought, I think, to do this. Maybe I'll do another chapter for you once I master it. So,
And
and
it
then
takes time to master, right? Like you said,
Oh,
you
yeah.
you read this at 19,
19.
you
Yeah.
know? So it takes, and I wish I could just master it yesterday, but reading it was a first step for me because
Mhm.
other than Dori introducing me to the book, I've never ever heard of the book, right? It wasn't.
Yeah.
And so-
Actually, I'm amazed how many people have not
Mm-hmm.
heard of it.
Oh, and I ask people like when I'm on the phone or talking to them, I'm like, oh yeah, we're doing Think and Grow Rich, and they're like, what is that? And I'm like, the book, by Napoleon Hill, and they're like, no. I'm like, well, then that tells me you haven't joined us for our live book gathering, and you
Yeah.
have to. And I drag them right to the page, and they're like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine how many more gems like this are sitting in Dori's library of just books that really just take you to that next level, if you will.
You just have to keep learning.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I want to wrap it up actually with I like this chapter actually, how to outwit the 6 ghosts of fear. So he talks about fear can paralyze you. It's a horrible thing. You definitely don't want to be fearful. You want to be courageous instead. We had the lion here a few chapters ago, but you really want to be as courageous as a lion, that nothing can stop you. But he gives you a little resume about the 6 ghosts of fear. The fear of poverty. People are always afraid they're not going to have enough money to pay their bills or do this. And that's a terrible place to be. Fear of criticism, which really ties with the fear of public speaking, because people feel like they're going to be criticized for their ability to public speak. And people are afraid of public speaking as bad as death. So criticism, don't worry about criticism. There's nobody is perfect. No one. You just have to do it. And so what? You're not going to please everybody.
No.
And don't even worry about it. You think every single person is going to like you? No, who cares? I don't care. I mean, if you like me, I want you to like me, but if you don't, that's okay too. No worries. So criticism, you should just put to the side. Ill health, so getting sick, not taking care of yourself. You're afraid of that. You're overweight or you're not eating right. So those are all bad things. The fear of loss of love, of someone you love. So that's a bad situation, right? You don't want to lose anybody. Old age, you don't want to get old. And then the fear of death. So if you look at the little, how many of them are there? 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 fears. If you put those aside, you're going to have a much easier time implementing this program. Because if you're worried about these things, then guess what? Your mind is being occupied with these negativities that's going to cripple you from moving ahead and doing the things that you want to do.
Definitely.
So why worry about half the things that are not going to come true anyway?
Well, you can only
We always worry about stuff
you
that
can't control.
Well,
Exactly.
that and say you can't even control some of these.
Yeah. So you just need to live your life, and if you apply the principles, then these things will not even be an issue. Like I have none of these. I don't care about any of these. I have no fear. I fear God, yes, but that's it. No other fears. So I want to encourage you to just let go of all your fears, make up your mind on what you want, go through most of the principles, maybe except for the 6 senses, maybe wait on that a little bit. But if you're ready for it, hey, go for it.
Mhm.
But I really want to encourage you to start applying all this material, because once you start applying it with the knowledge, so if you combine Think and Grow Rich principles with the systems and the structure and the strategies and the solutions that I share with you in my book, you will set the world on fire, I'm telling you. there's no stopping you, seriously, because everything in here is proven effective. Everything in here is proven effective. And when you combine the mindset with the knowledge of how to run a business effectively, what more do you want? You got it.
You have everything.
And that's really what this is all about, you guys. So we are going to be doing my book because we did this already. As a matter of fact, Tara and I just started this in the middle of the shutdown. We went through it very quickly, though. We did it in 4 weeks. We did it by parts instead of by chapters, and it was too fast. And it wasn't in our studio, so we want to redo it for you. And we've had so many requests of people that missed it before and would like us to go into it more in depth.
And so many new people that have purchased the book
Right.
and that have
So
become
actually, that's what I
members.
was gonna tell them. So if you don't have the book, you need to go to Amazon and get you a copy, or you can go to our website and download a complimentary copy. But you know what? I still like books because again, you can highlight it, you can write in it. So you should really have a hard copy. I mean, we've had people where they bought 20 and 30 of them for every member of their team. So to invest $10 or whatever in a book that you're gonna have, I would definitely do that. And then we're gonna start those probably, we'll announce the date, send out an email, but it'll probably be either the end of August or the beginning. We wanna finish the Leap Ahead seminar, and then we're gonna start planning our book writing seminar. So we're busy, we have a lot to do, but we definitely wanna keep the book gathering going. And I have a great book after my book, so we'll keep it going and keep learning and keep sharing, so you guys can all improve your business.
I feel like we're live all the time. We have our Leap Ahead, we have our book gatherings, we have our mastermind meetings. We're getting ready to do
Recipes
the
for
book.
Success.
Yes, recipes for success. We're getting ready to do our book seminar.
Yeah,
So it's
Very
really
exciting.
amazing.
we stay very busy. I'm ready to retire.
And every time Dori says I have something new, I'm like, here we go.
Here we go.
It's great. But it's always been amazing.
Here we
Yes.
go. All right, how are we doing, Sarah?
We're doing great. I have a comment that warms my little soul here
Aw.
from Mickey. You know, again, she said that Dori was instrumental in mentoring me, you know, early in my career, and she is just amazing.
Is this Mickey Douglas?
Aw.
Mickey Makeup and Aesthetics.
Oh, I think it is. Wow, from Georgia? Yeah. Wow, if that's the Mickey I'm thinking about, I haven't heard from her in a while. Well, that's wonderful.
I get goosebumps.
I know, just
Yeah, that's so nice.
Isn't that
See,
so sweet?
And that's why we
That-
do this.
That's the impact that you can make on people yourself. I mean, think about it. When somebody comes to you and they're wrinkled and they don't feel good about themselves, or they're overweight, and you totally do a transformation. I mean, what an amazing feeling
Right.
that you have.
Well, and you give
So-
them that confidence back, right? Because we lack that confidence sometimes. And when you can give someone that makeover and that fresh feeling in their face,
Yeah.
you just boost their confidence and not even
Absolutely.
realizing it.
Yeah. And those are the things that they should be talking
Oh,
about all the
absolutely.
time. And you guys should do book gatherings like this for wellness, for looking
Oh.
beautiful. And if you're not doing stuff like this to help your community and educate them, you're really missing out. To help position you better, you're missing out on the expertise that you can give yourself, plus the ability to market whatever it is that you're talking about. So it's
So,
a
and
great
if you're a
thing.
published author, you should definitely start your book gatherings with your
Yeah.
book.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a
Oh.
no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys, where we are at the hour. Thank you so much
Yes.
for being part of the Think and Grow Rich. I'm so proud of
Absolutely.
your accomplishments.
Thank you.
Keep
Thanks
it
for having
going.
us.
Sarah, I'm so proud of you and applying the Think and Grow Rich principles. Let's keep it going. All of you, members, non-members, guests, we loved having you. So we'll keep you posted as when we're going to start the book. In the meantime, make sure you go and buy a copy in case you don't have one already. And if you're a member, you get it for free. So just call us and we'll be more than happy to ship you one. So
It's been a pleasure to sit up here with both
I know,
of you
right?
ladies for this entire
Yeah,
book. I love it,
I
even
know.
though we changed the scene a little bit.
Sure.
But it's been amazing. Can't
Yeah.
wait to see how many more books and the
Thank
success
you.
that we're gonna have from it.
so much fun.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time,
Stay inspired.